Innovate or die. That might sound dramatic, but in healthcare, it's reality. With rapidly shrinking margins, increasing administrative burdens, staffing shortages, and an ever-changing technological landscape, standing still is the fastest way to fall behind. And yet, so many medical groups are still relying on outdated processes, inefficient systems, and legacy thinking. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where you can find experts, answers, and resources so that you can achieve mastery over the financial and business aspects of your practice. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jill Arena. I began my career in accounting and finance, and I have more than 30 years of experience running medical groups. I own and operate a national healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company, and I am the author of Physician Heal Thy Financial Self. In 2020, I co-founded the Physician Leadership Project, and my passion is to increase financial and business literacy for physicians. Episode 130, Innovate or Die, How Beginly, Neon, and Rivet are rewriting the rules of healthcare ops. Welcome back to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where we dig into the innovations, strategies, and best practices that drive real financial results in healthcare. I'm your host, Jill Arena, and today we're going to talk about something that's become more than just a buzzword. It's become a mandate. Innovate or die. That might sound dramatic, but in healthcare, it's reality. With rapidly shrinking margins, increasing administrative burdens, staffing shortages, and an ever-changing technological landscape, standing still is the fastest way to fall behind. And yet, so many medical groups are still relying on outdated processes, inefficient systems, and legacy thinking. Today, we're exploring 3 companies that are shaking things up in a good way. These aren't just startups with cool logos. These are game-changing platforms solving very real problems that medical groups face every day. We'll look at Rivet Health, which is completely reimagining physician recruitment with a platform that functions more like a dating app than a traditional recruiter. Then we'll turn to Neon Health, an AI-driven solution that tackles one of the biggest bottlenecks in care delivery, prior authorizations. And finally, we'll look at Rivet Health, a powerful denial management tool that's helping revenue cycle teams stop leaving money on the table. We've worked with each of these companies, and they all have innovative leadership teams and smart solutions for medical groups. Each of these innovators represents a different facet of healthcare operations, but they all have one thing in common. They're helping medical groups work smarter, not harder. Let's start with the why. Why is innovation so urgent right now? For starters, administrative costs in U.S. healthcare are spiraling out of control. According to a recent study, we spend more than $250 billion annually on billing and insurance-related costs alone. That's about 1 in every 8 healthcare dollars going to bureaucracy and not patient care. At the same time, recruiting and retaining clinical talent has never been more difficult. Burnout is widespread, workloads are increasing, and the pipeline of new physicians is not keeping up with demand. And then there's the sheer complexity of care delivery: prior authorizations, denied claims, pre-certifications, compliance audits. All of these hurdles slow things down, frustrate staff, delay patient care, and chip away at margins. So what's the answer? You guessed it, innovation. Let's start by talking about Rivet Health. Rivet was founded by Christy Olson, a seasoned healthcare executive who saw just how broken the physician recruitment process has become. Traditional recruiters were relying on cold outreach, generic job boards, and outdated databases. It was time-consuming, expensive, and it often produced poor fits. Christy's vision was different. She imagined a platform that treated physicians not as commodities to be placed, but as professionals seeking meaningful connections with organizations aligned with their values. As we reviewed in our conversation together in episode 129, Christy has brought this to the market, and it values the time of the physicians with a very targeted approach rather than spamming their email inboxes. Think of Beginly like a dating app, but for physicians and medical groups. Physicians create detailed profiles that include their clinical interests, work-life preferences, desired schedule, compensation goals, and even their values and workplace culture preferences. Medical groups do the same. Then, the Beginly platform uses smart matching algorithms to suggest high-fit opportunities to both sides. No cold calling, no spammy emails, just curated connections that make sense. What makes Beginly stand out is its physician-first model. Physicians remain in control of who sees their profile. They're not blasted out to dozens of groups. Instead, Beginly acts like a concierge, making thoughtful introductions based on mutual alignment. For medical groups, this means faster time to fill positions, higher retention rates, and better cultural alignment from day one. Imagine reducing your average recruitment time by 50%, or not having to replace that new hire who left after 6 months because it wasn't the right fit. That's what Beginly is delivering. One orthopedic group in the Pacific Northwest recently used Beginly to fill 3 open positions. All 3 hires were made in under 90 days, and each physician cited the transparency and ease of the platform as a reason for accepting the offer. That's innovation at work. Now let's pivot to another headache we all know too well: prior authorizations. Enter Neon Health. Neon was created to fix what is arguably one of the most broken parts of the healthcare system. Prior authorizations are supposed to be about ensuring appropriate care, but in reality, they often delay necessary treatment, burden staff, and create an obstacle course that clinicians and billing teams have to navigate, sometimes blindly. Neon uses artificial intelligence to streamline and, in many cases, fully automate the prior authorization process. Here's how it works. First, the system connects to your EHR and PM software. As soon as a provider orders a test, treatment, or procedure that requires authorization, Neon goes to work. Its AI calls the health plan and speaks with the prior auth team, giving the appropriate patient data along with CPT and ICD-10 codes that you specify, and it returns a prior auth or a denial. If the AI runs into something more complex, it laterals that auth to one of the humans on your team for intervention. It's like having a prior auth specialist who works 24/7 and never makes a mistake. One practice using Neon reported that their turnaround time for approvals dropped from an average of 72 hours to under 24. Their denial rate for services requiring auths dropped by 40%. Now, that's not just better for your bottom line, it's better for your patients, because nothing is more frustrating than a delay in care caused by bureaucracy. Neon turns a major workflow bottleneck into a streamlined, intelligent process, and the return on investment is hard to ignore. You're listening to Medical Money Matters, a weekly podcast brought to you by Healthy Practices, a healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company dedicated to keeping our clients independent. Please reach out if we can do anything at all to support your practice. You can find more information online at healtheps.com. That's www.healtheps.com. Please follow or subscribe to get all future episodes downloaded as soon as they're released. This brings us to our third innovator, Rivet Health. Rivet is tackling the denial epidemic. And yes, it is an epidemic. According to the American Medical Association, nearly 20% of all claims are denied at first submission. That's 1 in 5. And even worse, many of those denials are preventable. And as we said in episode 128, 67% of denials are never reworked and resubmitted, so physicians just wind up losing that money. Rivet helps to keep that from happening. Rivet's platform doesn't just track denials, it analyzes them. It shows your billing team why a claim was denied, whether it's part of a pattern, and how to fix it, not just once, but permanently. It flags systemic issues like coding mismatches, missing documentation, or payer-specific quirks that trip up your team. What makes Rivet powerful is its automation engine. It can generate appeal letters, reroute claims for resubmission, and alert staff to claims nearing timely filing deadlines. It's like giving your RCM team night vision goggles and a map. in a world where everyone else is walking blind. One multi-specialty group in Texas started using Rivet and saw a 30% drop in denials within 90 days. More importantly, their billing staff stopped spending hours each week chasing down preventable errors. They were able to reallocate that time toward proactive claim audits and training. That's the difference between reacting and leading. And it's where innovation lives. So, we've looked at 3 amazing tools among many companies out on the market today. Beginly, revolutionizing how we recruit and retain physicians. Neon, using AI to turn prior auth from a choke point into a strength. And Rivet, eliminating the chaos in denial management and boosting revenue flow. Now, here's the bigger picture. Innovation isn't just about adopting new tools. It's about adopting a new mindset. Too many medical groups are stuck in what I call legacy mode. They're doing things the way they've always been done, not because it works, but because change feels risky. But here's the reality. Staying the same is the riskiest move you can make. When you cling to outdated systems, you lose top talent, you waste money, you frustrate patients, and eventually you fall behind competitors who are willing to evolve. The good news, you don't have to change everything overnight, but you do have to start somewhere. Maybe that means looking at how you're hiring and asking, are we attracting the kind of physicians we actually want, or just taking whomever we get? Maybe it means doing a denial audit and realizing that 60% of your rework is avoidable. Or maybe it means acknowledging that your prior auth process is costing your patients time and your practice money. Whatever the case, the path forward starts with awareness, followed by action. At Healthy Practices, we help medical groups evaluate their current operations, identify areas where innovation can have the biggest impact, and implement sustainable change. Because innovation without strategy is just noise. But innovation with purpose, that's how you build a future-ready practice. So here's my invitation to you. This week, pick one part of your workflow that's outdated or inefficient. Talk to your team about it. Explore whether one of these tools, Beginly, Neon, Rivet, might be the right fit, or explore some new ones. Because the future of healthcare isn't coming, it's already here. And the groups that will thrive in this new era are the ones willing to disrupt themselves before someone else does it for them. Thanks for listening to Medical Money Matters. If this episode sparked ideas or questions, reach out. We'd love to hear how your practice is approaching innovation. And if you want help doing it smarter, we're here for that too. Until next time, keep asking better questions, trying new solutions, and pushing for the kind of healthcare system we all deserve. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Medical Money Matters podcast. Before you go, let me ask you, are you ready to take your medical group's coding to the next level? Because that's where Code Mastery comes in. Code Mastery isn't just another coding program. It's the ultimate physician-to-physician training solution to maximize your revenue and empower your physicians with the skills they need to code confidently and win the coding game. From comprehensive high-octane training to actionable insights, Code Mastery gives you the edge you've been looking for. Don't leave money on the table. Visit healtheps.com/codemastery to learn more and take control of your coding today. Let's transform your practice's financial future starting now. See you next time on the Medical Money Matters podcast.